Good morning, my gardening friends. I'm Lark from Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, Zone 5, and I'd like to show you my cottage-style garden for early June. The oriental poppies are looking so pretty right now. That's catmint behind Nepeta, the blue. I like that combination. I'm going to show you probably just about a third of the garden, so I don't have to go too fast, but I don't want to go too slow either. So you let me know if I should go a little faster or slower next time. And I'm walking with the camera, not a tripod, so I hope it's not too bumpy. Back in the corner of the garden there, I had a tree peony. I do have a tree peony, and off of the tree peony came, the grafting area came the part that they grafted with an old-fashioned peony, I'm thinking, and that's it. It turned out really pretty. It took a couple of years. I dug the sprouts or the cuttings from the bottom of the base of the Japanese tree peony, and that's what I got. Siberian iris. Caesar's brother, I think that is. And the white is just a spring daisy, wild. And some of my irises are still blooming. That's a pretty yellow with a butterscotch color in it. Carl Forester grass, which is about the only grass that lived. I lost a lot of my variegated grasses. Why, I don't know. Yes, we had a drought, but I water. I have soaker hoses. This is seeded now, but it's the spreading Jacob's ladder was pretty blue up against these hostas here, which you know is dry under this tree because of all the roots, but it seems to do good. Feverfew is ready to bloom soon, a white, which will brighten up this area under the maple tree. And a corabill, plum pudding, and a variegated sedum, upright sedum. Whoops, little blurry. These are some alliums called Harry that will be blooming soon. The wild geranium is just about done, and I will be deadheading it. It probably has seeded somewhat all over already, but I like it as a filler. This path here has a sedum on it that blooms yellow very soon. This is another bearded iris. I hope the wind isn't too noisy on the camera here. And then I think this is butter and sugar, butter and cream. I don't know. It's a Siberian iris. Looking good. Coreopsis chickseed, bloom in a couple weeks. And also this here is Lady in Black Aster. When I plant, and I plant pretty close, and that's a cranesbill geranium, I plant a spring, a summer, and a fall, at least. And then mid-spring, early summer, all within a 4-foot area. And that way I get bloom in the garden all gardening season from April to probably late October. A variegated Heliopsis sometimes loses its variegation, but it's pretty good for a variegated plant. I use a lot of the wild milkweed in the garden. I let it go. Really is nice for the monarchs. That's kind of a pretty iris right there. It's more of the brown tones, brown and burgundy and yellow. This here is a Boltonia, late blooming, but again, I need that spring, summer, fall grouping of blooming plants. I like this flower here. It's a ranunculus, I think, in the ranunculus family. I call it a buttercup. But it's nice and airy. It's up close to the path, but you can see through it and see the other flowers, like the Siberian iris. And there's a milkweed in there, and black-eyed Susan. So I call it a see-through plant. And I deadhead everything after it's done blooming, or cut it back to the ground. There's that peony I was talking about. Lots of phlox in here. And asters, which the deer love. But I do my pepper spray. I make up a concoction of a hot pepper spray because deer off is too expensive and I don't want to make the stinky stuff. Another bearded iris with smoke bush or smoke tree, whichever you let it be. That roof vent back there off a barn is where my old dog is buried, Cinder. And now also my daughter's dog we buried the other day. Those are my forever bellflowers. Votive cups upside down give me interest all year. Even in the winter they look pretty. Chives. And I use them a lot in my salads and potatoes, any of the dishes for cooking. More of the plum pudding corabelles with the burgundy foliage. A sedum. That's one of my favorite sedums because the yellow flower goes to a red color and then orange and then bronze in the seed head. So it looks good for months. I really like it. Oops, I'm sorry, going too fast. I also let Dame's Rocket grow in more of the back of the garden towards the wild area. Yes, it can go crazy, but I like its fragrance and it's a good filler. That's my big arch. And that has Sweet Autumn on the right, and on the right is also climbing hydrangea, but that's only about 5 years old, so I can't expect blooms yet. And then the trumpet vine. And I did have a Jackmania, and I don't see it on there this year. The lupines, I lost quite a few. I see a lot of babies coming up, but there's a few mom plants around. I like that, pillar effect, you know, like columns in the garden. Another pretty ground cover for spring is the snow in the summer. And that's that white we're looking at. Silver foliage, so of course it is very drought tolerant. But the flowers now are real pretty. And you can see I use that, I repeat it in the front of the border all the way down the garden. As I do the yellow sedum also, and then I have dragon's blood sedum. I think I told you I lost a lot of my variegated grasses. It really makes me sad because I like the white variegation in the garden, green and white. That's pygmy barberry.